Let's quickly talk about how to get a national funding business loan. A lot of folks are asking questions about national funding. Is it a legit company? Are they scammers? So, in today's conversation, I really want to answer all those questions and give you more. So, here is the overview I want you to pay attention to. So, when you think about national funding, this is a company that specializes in small business financing. It's a legit company. It's a company that has been in existence for nearly 25 years, nearly a quarter of a century. They actually started in 1999, and so they don't do they don't check your credit right off the bat. So you have a system of soft pulls, and then if you're interested, so national funding will give you offers, and if you love the kind of offers they give you, then you go ahead and apply, and at that point they will do a hard pull. So when you think about national funding, actually you have a three approach system that we love a lot. You get started by actually filling out the pre-approval form. You get approved and you get funded. So this is kind of cool. And so you have a small business loans that go from 5,000 to $400,000. And you can use the cash for a lot of things: for inventory, for payroll, for marketing, for taxes, and way more. And one thing we love about national funding also is that they actually do also collateralized business funding. So if you want to have equipment financing and leasing, national funding will actually take care of you, not a problem at all. So the cool thing is you can actually you get a business. You have a variety of business loans to purchase or lease new or used equipment. So here we are speaking about up to $150,000. So whenever you think about national funding, I want you to think about two different business funding programs: small business loans and equipment financing and leasing. Now, in terms of the eligibility for the small business loans, if you have a FICO score that starts at 550, you qualify for a national funding business loan. Obviously, there are other stuff, but the national funding wants you to be in business for at least 1 year. In some cases, they want to go all the way to 18 months rather, so 1.5 years. And but in terms of payday score, if you are around 80 to 85, you are good to go. But the most important thing is that they are very flexible in terms of your FICO score. Just make sure that you give national funding a call first before starting the conversation, so that you have a clear idea of how they work. I want to talk to you about the value added. So when we talk about national funding business loan, we really want to drill down. I want to go a little deeper so that you have a clear idea of how to qualify for a small business loan and national funding. The thing is that national funding they have a pretty straightforward, I would say, process. So you have a very simple business loan application process that takes you about 3 to 5 minutes to actually complete. And it's very simple. They ask very simple questions, and what we love about national funding here is that they basically have a fast, easy process, but that's very personalized. So basically, you will have your own business loan advisor, if you will, your funding specialist, and this person will, if you have any question, ask that person. He or she will answer you. He or she will tell you how national funding works, what kind of requirements they want to have, what kind of paperwork they're asking for. And so this is please avail yourself of your funding specialist. So this specialist is your advocate. This is the person who will help you get a loan. And but as soon as you actually reach out to national funding, that's what they do. They do this automatically. They will assign someone to you. The person will have a call with you from 15 to 20 minutes. But this is a very important call, because this person, your funding specialist, will ask you all questions: what you do, what kind of economic sector you're in, what kind of states do you cover. They'll ask you about your financials. They'll ask you about your legal structure. So it's a short interview that will help your funding specialist know exactly what you want. So the bottom line here is what you have: personalized service. Okay, your funding specialist will help you secure a small business lending solution for what kind of company you have. And when we talk about today's topic, again, we're having a conversation about how to get a loan from national funding, how to get a business loan. The whole thing is just make sure that you actually prepare everything before talking to your funding specialist. And the cool thing here is that sometimes that funding specialist can let you know. They are so honest. They'll let you know, hey, listen, we don't think you qualify for a national funding business loan. So we can actually refer to other competitors like On Deck and Triton Capital. Okay, so this is actually the first time we work with people who are so honest that they will let you know, hey, listen, we cannot work with you. We don't have a solution, a funding solution for you. Please go to the competition, if you know, so to speak. Now, let me talk to you about the application itself. So, how does a national funding business loan application really works? So, in terms of the minimum requirements, you got to have 6 months in business. So, when we talk about 6 months in business, we're speaking about that like they start counting when you have your actual paperwork from the states. Not 6 months in business when you started like 10 years ago and then your business was kind of stale and dead for a while. No, they will look at your when you actually had your paperwork, your articles of incorporation or articles of organization from the state. Sorry about that. So basically, the thing here is that you have to really think about what really works for you. So they'll ask you for 6 months in business. So you have to show your articles of incorporation from the state, and you got to have at least $250,000 in annual sales. So $250,000. So we're talking about gross revenue. So gross revenue. So that's top of the line sales, and so they will look at that. So that's about 20 grand, 20 grand a month, a little bit above 20 grand a month. So $21,000 a month on average. And so this is gross income. And then you need to have a business bank account. So those are three important elements if you want to qualify for a national funding business loan. So I just want to repeat: 6 months in business, $250,000 in annual revenue, and a business bank account. In terms of your FICO score, 500, 550, you are good to go. And the cool thing here is that you just apply online. Obviously, you would have spoken to your funding specialist. You would have actually asked all questions, but you apply online. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes. Okay, you're not really like you don't have like a national funding business loan is by definition a low doc business loan. They're not asking for a lot of documentation. Okay, and so the approval grows real fast too. You can be approved in as little as 24 hours, 24 to 36 hours. And and what will happen here is that your funding specialist will contact you to discuss options. You can secure funding up to $400,000 for your small business. So the cool thing is that this is really, really good. Now, what I want to quickly say is that national funding stands out in terms of a quick application and funding process. It's easier for businesses to qualify, and you have an early repayment discount. In terms of the things that the national funding can do better, you have daily or weekly repayments. This could be a little disruptive to your cash flows. You have they charge interest as a factor rate. And so this is something that can be a little difficult, but hey, listen, it is what it is. I want to quickly talk to you about the loan typology. So when we talk about national funding actually has, it's like, think of it as a shopping mall for business loans. Because basically, you don't just get the one type of loan through a national funding. You have a compilation. You have a smorgasbord of loans, of business loans. And what we love here is that when you actually go into this variety of business loans, you are assured to find one that works for you. So with national funding, you have several business lending solutions that span multiple industries. So we're speaking about commercial trucking, business loans for truckers. We have agricultural business loans, construction business loans, restaurants business loans, gym and fitness center business loans. You have beauty and wellness business loans. So it's all about you trying to find out how much funding you can qualify for, because they've got something for your specific industry. This is why you want to start, as I think I was just telling you, it's always better to call a funding specialist to start the conversation. So when we talk about how do you actually qualify, like today's topic, we want to have a conversation about how do you actually qualify for a national funding business loan. It's important to always start by calling a funding specialist. The number here is 1-888-733-2383. Again, the number is 1-888-733-2383. And so you are able to actually see what you qualify for. Now, the amount that you qualify for will be based upon your revenue. So national funding will ask you to select your annual gross sales under $250,000 from let's say $250,000 all the way to $1 million or over $1 million. So this is how everything starts. So when you go to the website, they will ask you to choose what kind of revenue bracket you find yourself in. And this is how you start the conversation. They will never ask you for your FICO score. They never ask you for your FICO score. The first conversation is your revenue. And then later on, they will start looking at which sector of the economy you're in, what's your legal structure, what are other information about your financials, all that kind of stuff. So that's when they start digging a little deeper to have a clear idea of what kind of business you have. But everything starts with your annual gross sales. So please, if you are interested in having a national funding business loan, be sure that your annual gross sales, that number is accurate, because everything will be based on that. And if that number is not accurate, that means that you will not going to be approved. I want to quickly talk to you about the loan choice. So if you're listening to me right now, you're just wondering, hey, you know what? I want to get a loan from national funding. And how do I actually know which loans that I want? First of all, you need to sit down and have a clear idea. You need to think about what kind of business objectives you're trying to reach. Do you need money to cover payroll? Do you need money to cover inventory? Do you need to expand? Do you need to actually, let's say you want to enlarge your real estate, your office, all that kind of stuff? Do you want to buy another business? So this is actually, so your need, your operational need will determine what kind of, what kind of loan that you get in the first place. Okay. And so, because when you think about national funding business loan, regardless of the industry that you're in, you're going to find working capital loans, short-term business loans, equipment financing loans. And national funding is not really good when it comes to long-term business loans, maybe because their risk appetite is a little short-term or medium-term. So they will actually, they actually specialize. So when you think about working capital loans, that's by definition a short-term business loan. And when you think about a short-term business loan, like a term business loan, this is like between 12 to 18 months. So you have a repayment window that's very short. So if you tell me right now that you are interested in a working capital loan, that means what? It means that your business is struggling to maintain cash flow. And the cool thing is that national funding will give you business loans to help you manage day-to-day business expenses and operating costs easily. If you're looking for a short-term business loan, it means you need fast access to business loans that can be repaid in months, not years. So you can actually get a temporary cash, like let's say capital influx, that will help you, survive in the short term. And you have to repay the loan in 12 to 18 months. Now, or if you're telling me that you are looking for an equipment financing loan, that means that you're basically trying to buy or lease business critical equipment. This can be anything from machinery all the way to vehicles for your business. So you're basically getting a business equipment financing loan from national funding to be able to survive. So bottom line here is that we are talking about what? A maximum business loan amount of $400,000. Okay, $400,000, that's about it. But now if you are looking for an equipment financing loan, then we're looking about $150,000. Either way, this is kind of cool. As I said before, national funding is never going to ask you, at least at the beginning, they're not going to ask you about your FICO score. They're going to ask you about your sales revenue, your sales amount. How much sales are you generating? Everything starts from there. Let me have a quick conversation about planning. So the thing is, if you are trying to get a national funding business loan, you got to be you got to be good at planning. And so that means what? It means you got to have a clear idea how you can use a small business loan that you got from national funding, because they are going to ask you, and there are good questions and there are bad questions. And I want you to really give the good questions, the good answers rather. There are good answers and there are there are bad answers. Okay, not good at bad questions, but there are good answers and bad answers. So you want to be in a situation where you are constantly giving good answers. So if national funding asks you, what do you need the cash for? Here are some great answers. I want to use the cash flow to. I want to use the cash for building my company's cash flow. I want to expand my business. I want to pay business bills and consolidate business debt. I want to give a short-term boost to my business finances. I want to buy or lease business equipment. I want to market my business to my target audience. Okay. So when it comes to building your cash flow, you are basically trying to seek sufficient working capital to take care of the daily expenses of your business, payroll, inventory, office expense, and so on and so forth. If you want to expand your business, you want to open a new branch for your store, say, or expand your warehouse facility, right? Those are expansion, those are business expansion activities. Or let's say you want to pay bills and consolidate debt. So you want to clear any outstanding payments to vendors and consolidate any existing business debt. Or let's say you want to give a short-term boost to your business finances. So you are trying to resolve any short-term monetary problems that your business is encountering right now. Or you want to purchase or rent tools, machines, or appliances that are essentials for your business. So the bottom line here is that you have the ability to boost your business by getting a loan from national funding. So be in a situation where you are only giving good answers. If they ask you what is the use of loan proceeds, you will have a clear answer. And remember that besides national funding, there are alternatives. Okay. So don't feel like, listen, if I don't get a loan from, if I don't get a business loan from national funding, I'm not going to get a loan. No, you can always get SBA loans. So those loans are usually known as 7A loans. You have several derivatives, but those are loans that are they're essentially guaranteed by the United States Small Business Administration. So you have commercial banks that can actually help you also, commercial banks. You have alternative lending platforms, okay? Online lenders like national funding guarantee fast and easy access to small business loans once approved. So this is kind of cool. And so you have a lot of them. And the cool thing is you are going to be approved no matter what. So it's just a matter of organizing yourself and knowing exactly what you want. Let's close to this conversation by talking about the pros and cons of national funding business loans. So again, I just want to recap the conversation here. So when we speak about national funding, we have a maximum loan amount of $400,000, minimum credit score 550 to 600. Okay, and so they want you to have at least 150 or 200, like $250,000 a year in terms of revenue. What are the pros and cons here? Pros. You have funding in as little as 24 hours. Prepayment discounts are available. And here is a platform that offers a loan to startups and borrowers with bad credit, and no collateral or down payment required. So you have unsecured business term loans and unsecured working capital loans. Everything unsecured, totally possible. What about the cons here? National funding charges a factor rate that makes it more difficult to compare costs with other lenders. Short-term loans require daily or weekly repayment. And so national funding actually requires higher annual revenue than other lenders. And in terms of the website marketing, in some cases, we thought that the wording was a little misleading. So overall, one thing I want to say here is that national funding is really an online lender that issues small business loans to entrepreneurs in a variety of industries. So you have more chances, okay? You have more chances if you go through national funding, because national funding, in our view, is great for business borrowers who need cash fast, who can repay the loan early, and who don't meet the eligibility requirements of other lenders. Okay, so national funding considers borrowers with at least 6 months in business, as well as those with bad credit. So something that you will not going to find with traditional banks, for instance. Okay, some banks will work with you if you only have a relationship with them. Now with national funding, you don't need to have a relationship with them because they're not a bank. Okay, but they'll take care of you. Now their APR is a little high. This is actually the the flip side of these things. But hey, listen, it is totally possible to get a loan from them. But yeah, you can get a short-term loan from $5,000 to $400,000. For equipment financing, you can get it up to $150,000. So we're speaking here about equipment financing and leasing or leasing. So totally possible. In terms of the short-term loan, the repayment schedule, daily or weekly. So this could be a little disruptive, but hey, listen, it is what it is. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just quickly talking to you about how to get a business loan from national funding. And so here is a recap of what we spoke about. So I gave you a glance into what the company is about, so an overview, and then the value added, the application, the loan typology, the loan choice, the planning that you have to go through, and the pros and cons in the end. Thank you. God bless you. I'll speak to you another time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.